openmentor.net. Is my voice clear to you all? Can you please raise your hands? Okay, great. Okay, before we start today, we would like to show you the new webinars that we have uploaded. If you go to OpenMentor and then go to the course demos, you will get into this page and there is a recorded webinars link over here, okay? And you can make a refresh also if you want to get the latest ones. You can go to the recorded webinars list. In this, previously we had only Oracle and C. Today, we have included Python. There are 22 parts with each 5-10 minutes of information on Python, as well as there was a webinar that I conducted a few weeks back. Critical points that one should follow in coding and testing. There are 3 parts, each about 45 minutes. So these roughly about 22 plus 3, 25 sessions have been uploaded in the recorded webinars, and these are done in Microsoft Windows Media Player format, WMV, as well as Advanced Streaming Format, ASF, so that you will not have any difficulties to play these applications from the web. You can view these recorded webinars when you have time. So more webinars are to come in this one. I hope you will all have a good amount of learning from the offline webinars also. How many of you have gone through the offline recorded webinars that is from our course demos? Can you please raise the hands? Okay, good. Quite a bit of more webinars to follow. We have now started doing a lot of editing work. More people, more volunteers have done the editing, and then we start uploading. Today itself we uploaded roughly about 25 sessions. Okay, you can view them offline. Good, let us get started with the Visio diagram. Okay, just to recapture yesterday's session, we talked about recap of last class. We talked about hardware architecture, then software architecture, then functional architecture. Especially in hardware architecture, you talk about servers, links, right? Connectors, routers, etc. Right? And again, in the software architecture, in which machine, what software or program runs, okay? That information. In the functional architecture, blocks and interactions. This is what we have seen yesterday in terms of architecture diagrams. Okay? Today, we are going to see mainly UI design. Okay? One of the biggest success of current days PCs, okay, and the new operating systems and the tools is the ease of use. If the application is simple, pleasing, if the user interface or the screens are also known as forms, if they are simple, attractive, not complicated, then more and more people will use. Previously, they are all character-based things, so that you have to type. When the graphical user interface came, people liked it very much because they are able to visualize stuff, right? The visualization, right? Visualization makes a product click or sync. This is a big, why Apple Macintosh was a success, why Microsoft Windows was a success. It's all attributed to the pleasing UI and the ease of use. Very simple editors, icons, tooltips, help messages, right? But someone has to design the UI. How to design the UI? That's what we are going to see today. Typically in the UI, right, there will be a screen. Within the screen, you will have objects. The objects can be text box, the object can be list box, or object can be radio or check button or push button, or the object can be a link, or object can be a grid, right? So there are multiple elements, or object can be an image also, right? There can be so many objects on the screen. The UI design must address what appears where. This is an important factor. If you are able to present it, give it to the developer can do that UI development very easily. Otherwise, if you ask the developer, oh, you yourself think, you draw, then I will check whether I like it or not, right? So that is not going to work a lot. So it's always better that we give the design, let the developer do that part, including what color it should be. That is why you could see there are some people called UI designers. Then there are some people called UI developers, right? There are two distinct features, UI designers, then there are some people called UI developers. These UI designers must be creative. So they have to visualize what is the pleasing thing, what is easy for the user, right? UI developers are typically coders who develop things in JSP or ASP.NET, right, or VB.NET, right, some kind of tools, or HTML, right? And there is something called, you might have heard this word, user experience. Is the end user happy? Will he use this software again? This is a very big question. Now I am asking you this question to you all. Will you be learning more from openmentor.net? If you feel so, you can learn, you can raise your hands. Will you learn more subjects from openmentor.net? What is the reason? It is easy. Anywhere you can connect, correct? You don't have to travel, you don't have to spend money, right? It makes your life simple and easy. Thanks, I see a lot of people raising their hands. Same way, if the screen is simple, that is what is going to make a product a big success. To do that part, someone has to draw the screen and then give it to the developers. How to do that? That is what we are going to see now. Is this concept clear to you all? Can you please raise the hands? Good. Let us start. To do the UI design, you go to the new, and then there is something called the software, right? Within software, you could see something called Windows XP user interface. Again, though it says Windows XP user interface, the screens will look more of the XP style, okay? I'll show you how it looks like. I click on it. Let me increase the size to say 50 or 60%, okay? Now, I want to draw a simple screen. Today, I'm going to walk you through an example. Typically, we have seen the OpenMentor screens, right? I'm going to draw a screen and then give it to my developers. This is how I want a screen. To do that, I'm just making this layout in this pretty quickly. Now, I want to create a screen, right? I just drag and drop. This is the window, blank form. A form means a screen, okay? Now, I just draw this, drag and drop. Windows title, I double click on it. It says login screen. Okay, user login. Okay, this is the screen. In this screen, what are the controls that should appear? You could see here, right? And there are something called Windows buttons. Do you want maximize, minimize, all these things? Right now it is just a design. So I just take it, I put that control over there. Okay. What is the button type? I say it's a close control. I want that to be appearing on that, right? I am not actually creating a control. Okay. All I am doing is just dragging and dropping. Okay. And this control, I'm saying this is the maximize. Okay. Now I want this to appear next to it. Okay. Now I want one more control. I don't want minimize. I just drag and drop. I don't want restore, but I want minimize. Now I want minimize to appear over here. I just drag and drop. Now if you see this is a screen, and if I see it at 75%, you could see this look almost like a screen, as though somebody has developed it. Okay. Now within this, I want to have some controls. You could see here common controls. Okay. You could see some common controls over here. What are those controls? I want to say I want a text box. Okay. Before that, I want to have some text over here. User ID, password, username, password. Okay. I just want to give that. So how to give that information? So all I'm going to say is there is a text box. I'm just taking it over there. Okay. This is a text box. There is another text box I take and then I put it over there. Again, you can do centering, right? All these things using same controls like shift and then the arrow key. Okay. I put this. Now, how do the border should appear? Right click, enable the text box, right? The text box is enabled for input. Now I want to say what is the format of this. Okay. I can always say or shape of this, right? Anything you can do exactly the same way that you have done it. What is the line that you should have? Suppose I say the line should be a little bit thick. Okay. Okay. Now I want to have some information listed over here. Suppose I double click, right? You can remove the text also, because by default it shows like enter the text. If you remove the text, it looks exactly like a text box. Now the next thing is I want to have some text next to it, right? User ID, login, something like that. I take a text appearing over here, user name. Okay. Again, you have to check the font, whether it should be 8 points or 9 points. Here is your creativity coming. Okay. If I do like this, will it be pleasing? If I do like this, will it be clear for the user? Will it be readable, right? Any text, you can click on the text tool and then say put over here, right? Password. Then you are making it as a 9 point. Okay. Then I'm clicking the arrow so that it comes back. Now you see username, password. Now I want to have a login button and a cancel button. If you want to do that exactly like Visual Basic or any other thing, all you need to do is this is a command button. Take this command button, drag and drop. Another command button, drag and drop. Double click on that command button. You can say the text will appear. Double click on this one, the text you can change, cancel, right? And I want to have one other button, right, towards the bottom, right? Or I want to have a text that should appear over here. Forgot password, click here. Okay. I can say forgot password, click here. Again, I'm going to say this is going to be 10-point text, right? It shows like this. And now I double click that portion. I want to say underline, okay? Just watch. It looks like a link. Within, right? One person has asked, what is the use of creating a screen using Visio? To show a screen normally in HTML or JavaScript, a developer creates screens in HTML or JavaScript, but someone has to tell the developer, hey, this is what I want in the screen, okay? You develop me a screen with this layout. Don't put login and cancel here. I want the forgot password link to be below this, and this should be the spacing. This is how you need to have user space name colon password colon. The systems analyst or the designer is telling someone, okay, is telling someone, create a screen in Java or JSP or ASP.NET or HTML like this. This person does not code anything here. He just draws. He draws, saves this, okay, save this file, okay, login screen.vsd. He gives it to the developer. After that, the developer is going to develop this, because in SDLC, first requirements happen. Second thing is design. Within design, you have got 4 parts: screen design, database design, logic design, interface design, of which screen design is extremely important and database design is extremely important. So the systems analyst is giving instruction to screen layouts. The screen layout will be a standing instruction to the developer to develop. Again, you can use MS Word or MS Excel to do the layout with control box, because if I open Microsoft Office, okay, let me open Microsoft Excel, okay, Microsoft Office, let us take Microsoft Word itself, okay. Within Microsoft Word, there is something like in the menu, if you use view control box, right, toolbars, this control box, right, here also you have got get me a text box, okay. You can have a checkbox, right, and I want to have a radio button. I'm just putting a radio button right there, right. Sorry, the remote desktop. I think somewhere, hold on a second. Somewhere I got the remote desktop disconnected. I was accessing another machine. Hold on a second. Okay. So this is a control box, right? But how does it look? Does it look much better than Visio? And the alignment, everything is very simple in Visio. The way it looks over here, look at the look and feel. The way it looks like an actual screen. Whereas how does it look? I have to go and then do so many properties, okay, draw the borders and shading, right? And I need to go and then do so many other things. But if you're happy with this Word itself, which is good, but the reason why Microsoft has provided a separate UI design tool is this one is much more effective in giving a better look and feel right at the first shot. By seeing this image, nobody will know whether this is a real screen or a bogus screen. Is this clear? The very, very fundamental way of drawing a very simple screen. Is this clear to you all? Can you please raise the hands? Okay. Good. Let us go and then try to get one slightly complicated screen. Okay. Now I save this one. I want to create a new one, software, another screen. Now let me make it as say 60%. This one, imagine that I am doing a billing system. I go to a store, right? In that store, I want to have items, purchase quantity, what is the price, and at the bottom it should show the total price. You might have seen the screens in the retail stores. That single screen is a slightly complicated screen. So I want to have such a screen. Now I can say this is a screen. Now I say this is a big screen. You can enlarge. This is like a container. Okay. Within this container, there's a top portion. Okay. You can say this is a tab. Okay. What tab should contain what controls, you can specify that also. Now I say there's a group box. If you say the group box, this is like a container within the screen, right? Now hold on a second. Let me enter the text for the form. Billing details. Okay. Now I come over here. Within this, I say format the text, right? What is the format in which it should have? Within this, right? Within this group box, I want to have some details like date, operator name, etc., etc. Within that, now I'm going to put a normal text box. Okay, a normal text box. Double click, and text that says operator name. Let us make it to 8 point. Okay, this is one top portion. Okay, and then say store number, something like that. I say another text box that should contain this store number or store name or store location, whatever you say. Because the same retail store may be in multiple streets within the same city, so you may have to give where exactly it is located, right? Now let me remove that. This is another control box. Sorry, then you have to fine tune the alignment of it. Okay, you have to fine tune the alignment. Let me stop this Skype. Okay. Okay. Now, you might have seen this kind of a layout in many places, right? For example, let me go to this notepad itself. Format font. Look at this. In the format font, there is a top portion. Within that, there is a small group, right? A layer within the same screen. This is what I am talking about, this control. Okay, there's a top portion, it has this information. Now, sorry, I might have. Now, once that is done, at the middle of this billing details screen, what do you want? Now I want to have one more information like a group box. I drag and drop this. Within this, I want to have a table, okay? A table that has multiple line items, item number, item description, price, quantity, etc., etc., right? You might have seen in railways reservation system also, there will be a grid, rows and columns, right? I want to have such things. If you look at in some of the controls, you could see only one thing called grid column. Okay. Now if I drag and drop this over here, okay, it is showing only one simple stuff, right? Either you can go ahead and then delete all these information and then remove this. It's like exactly drawing a table in Microsoft Word, but instead of having multiple rows, what you can do is you can first try to say there are multiple options here available also. Shapes, right? If you go to the shapes, you can say the properties of each of these things, which will come on the right click also. If you go to the format, again, whether it should be a line format or a text format, what do you want to insert? Exactly like in Microsoft, one person has asked, can I insert a picture into this one? You can very well do that. Suppose I say a picture from a file. Let me see whether there is a small icon, okay, available over here. My skip pictures, okay. I'm trying to have a Skype picture, okay. You can insert a picture also here, okay. Again, you have to reduce the size of the picture, right? So you can insert a picture as the way you want to have, but the size of the picture that you should have fine-tuned before you start inserting over here. Now, I want to have a grid kind of stuff over here. There are two ways to do it. Either you can have multiple text boxes to do it, or you can always do drag and drop this grid, okay. It is just one column. I'm saying this is like item name. Then I'm copying the same column, the same grid, and I'm just dragging and dropping, okay. There is some amount of, somewhere there is a, okay, yeah, now it got. Since this is a drawing tool, you don't expect a kind of a programming stuff over here. You just drag and drop, double click, item name, then quantity. It is up to you to do a fine alignment of these columns, okay. Now I copy this once again, then I move it, align it properly. That is the key. All you need to do is first drag and drop the control, align it properly. After that, it is changing the names, right? Price, then total, okay. Just look at it. Within a few minutes, you are able to draw a complex table in a few drag and drops and clicks. Total, right? Now I want to have one more text box appearing over here as subtotal, tax, and then grand total. So all I need to do is another text box, okay. I'm just moving this to the top, aligning to this total. This particular box must be subtotal, okay. I say subtotal. I want to have, sorry, it just changed this size to 75%, which I don't want. Let me come back to, now I want to have one more text box. You can either drag and drop, or you can do cut and paste, then move it, okay. I pressed Control C and Control V. Even the text boxes can be copied so easily, right? So I'm just moving that control, aligning, right? Now I want to have text appearing over here. All I need to do is tax, okay? Tax should be again in this one. Now I want to have a grand total. Again, if you don't want the text to be appearing inside the text box, double click, remove that. Now I want to have text appearing over here is grand total, right? Now if you look at this screen, right? Look at the screen. If I make it say 75%, a very simple screen which is drawn within a few minutes using Visio, it looks like who is the operator who is billing for me, what are the items that I am buying, quantity, price and total, subtotal, grand total. Again, at the bottom I can always have whether it's a cash payment, a check payment, or credit card payment, or debit card payment, right? Any application you see, one of the key things in UI design is any application in software will have master screens, right? Then transaction screens, then there will be reports. Any application you see, master screens, transaction screens, reports. In transaction screens, you will also have something called line items, okay? Line items meaning, if you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many items you are buying. Say I may buy 10 soaps, 2 toothpastes, right? Something like that. Those are all called the line items. If you take railways reservation system, passenger 1, passenger 2, passenger 3, they are all line items. Any application if you see, masters, transactions, reports, these are common. If someone can quickly design these screens and then give it to the developers, it is easy for the developers to draw. In fact, many times I tell our developers, okay, do as per the screen design. You don't have to do extra stuff. You don't add 1 extra button or 2 extra buttons based on your thoughts. A designer who has already gone through the customer interactions, the designer has drawn the screen, this is how it should look. Customer also has approved the screen design. Build the screen in ASP.NET using Visual Studio.NET. NetBeans or JDeveloper or Eclipse, they help you to design screens in JSP or Applet, right? Once this is given, you know how to do it. The programmer knows. What is the difference between using NetBeans or ASP.NET or Eclipse in doing a Visual Basic to do the screen and Visio? The major difference is, even if a person does not know coding, even if a person does not know what is programming or testing, still that person can use Visio, draw the screens, because he knows what the customer wants. Without knowing HTML, without knowing Python, without knowing any language, I can still draw the screen. That is the advantage of Visio. Whereas if you use Visual Studio.NET or NetBeans or VB, you must know the programming language to bring that screen up. This is the major difference, and this is why every single screen that we normally do, right, we try to have Visio diagram. This Visio diagram greatly ensures that the customer understands this is how my application will look. Is this clear to you all? Can you please raise the hands if so? Good. Just to quickly see anything that you want to, suppose I want to have a list box, right? For example, a list box, payment type, okay? I want to say payment type. This is I want this to be a list box. I can always say, you can say combo box, right? Drag and drop. The combo box appears over there, right? Now, if you want to have a slider bar, right? Vertical slider bar, horizontal slider bar, right? I want to have a tree node, right? A spin box, move up or down, right? Everything is available. A check box, just drag and drop, right? This is option 1. Right? Then you can say, sorry, somewhere it goes to that. I have to right click and then say format the text of that, right? So that is where at some point of time, if you double click, it may go to the container. In some places you may have to right click and then do that, right? If this is selected, just watch. It is by default, it is tick marked. Suppose I right click, say unselected, then the tick mark goes off, right? I want to have a radio button, same way, like you can just drag and drop a radio button over here, right? Everything is just a drag and drop. Anything that you think of in a screen is all available. The advantage here, it is available in NetBeans, it is available in Eclipse, it is available in many places, Visual Studio.net. Advantage here, I don't have to know programming language, but still I can do the screen design. That's the key, right? Is this clear? Okay, good. Now, with the last 3 webinars on Visio, a few questions I'm going to ask and then I'm open to questions. Are you in a position to draw screens? Are you in a position, if I give you an exercise, will you be in a position to draw flowchart? Will you be simple flowchart? Can you do that? Do you have that kind of a confidence? Can you raise the hands if you have the confidence? Good. Now, suppose I give you the screen design in a paper. I draw with pen and, or say paper and pencil, and then give you that. Can you draw that on Visio and then come back? Do you have that kind of a confidence? Initially, the alignment, drag and drop will all have some kind of a, you may feel a little bit slightly, you'll feel awkward, right? Why should I do this way? Why should I do that way, right? But once you start practicing just a few days, you will feel that this is extremely helpful, right? Otherwise, you may be thinking the developer will put the buttons at the bottom. The developer will put the buttons on the right hand side. You may be thinking that the developer should be giving the caption of the button as save. And the developer will say done. Button name instead of S-A-V in spelling, the developer would have given D-O-N-E, done. It's a small thing, but if it can be done right at the first shot, you minimize a lot of rework. To ensure that there is no rework on the UI, better to draw it and then give it to the developers. That's the fundamental essence of Visio. And again, we have not touched a whole lot of stuff in Visio because that is not in our subject. For example, if we go to new and then go to the building plan, right? If you go to the building plan, entire civil engineering, right? Floor plan, home plan, plant layout, plumbing and piping plan, right? Suppose if you go to the plumbing and pipe plan, just see here what joint it should use, right? Whether it should use valves or pipes, right? Probably you will know, right? Where should be the boiler, where should be the pump, right? Where should be the toilet, where should be the basin, where should be the wash sink unit, right? Anything you think of in civil engineering, it's all available. If you go to electrical engineering, right? Circuits and logic. If I click on it, on the left hand side, you could see a lot of analog and digital circuits, logic, right? Integrated circuits, terminals and connectors, transmission paths, transformers, right? Cabling. It is huge. Almost Visio itself is an ocean by itself, right? So, you can think of Visio as a tool that can quickly make diagrams rather than making a lot of text, and make the diagram presentable to anybody, whether they are your juniors or your team members or your client. You can use Visio to mesmerize them. Is this clear? Do you understand how big is Visio itself? Okay, I am open to questions. You can, if you have any questions, you can shoot the questions to me now. From my side, whatever I wanted to convey with respect to UI design on Visio, I have given you the jump start, right? Beyond this, you can practice. It's only practice. Any questions on this? Someone has asked any validation controls. Again, this is not like a tool that is going to say if someone enters age between 1 and 10, it should be valid. Anybody who is entering beyond this, it should not allow. This is just a drawing tool, nothing beyond that. Okay. Okay. Someone has asked what are the webinars that we have uploaded for Visio. No, we have not uploaded the Visio webinars. It's still in the recording mode, so we are yet to upload. Today we have uploaded roughly about 25 parts, 22 parts in Python programming and 3 parts in critical points in coding and testing. More webinars are now available with us. We'll be uploading it. Okay. Again, someone has asked what is the difference between this and NetBeans. Again, as I said, NetBeans is a programming tool. This is a drawing tool, as simple as that. Don't expect anything beyond drawing in Visio. In certain cases, especially in database diagrams, it used to give some database scripts also. But more than anything else, this is mostly used as a drawing. Any other questions so far in Visio? Okay. I have not seen, I'm not receiving any questions. Okay. One person has asked, can it give the flow? Like if I click on this, it should show this. Again, this is not executing anything. It does not execute anything. It simply shows, that's all. If you want to use Visio diagrams in Word or Excel, save Visio diagram as an image, then copy that image in Excel so that you'll have the background as Excel, foreground as Visio. Right? Someone is asking if I create multiple pages, how can I animate the flow? Okay. For example, we open this diagram. Okay. Login screen. What this person is asking is, if someone clicks this, right? If someone clicks on it, it should go to a different place. The purpose of Visio, as I said, this is not something called an animation tool. This is a pure drawing. How it should show as a static thing, right? As simple as that. But your question is valid. There is something called wireframes. Okay. If I want to have something animated also, there is something called wireframes. Okay. This can show linkages between screens. Okay. You can get flow from this, from wireframes. Wireframes are also drawing tools. Adobe has got a wireframe. There are a lot of free wireframe tools available. Using wireframes, you can literally show the animation also. If you click there, in one link, it should go to the next screen. So you can give the linkages right there. And wireframes have the capacity to give HTML source code also. I draw a diagram. You can say generate it in HTML. It will generate it in HTML. But not this. If you want very advanced things like Adobe is giving Dreamweaver, right? Those are the tools which can really produce HTML code, linkages, etc., etc. But it's almost like an application development. Okay. Any other question? Okay, good. I'm not receiving any more questions. So I wish a happy Makara Sankranti to all the audience of openmentor.net, and happy Pongal. Thanks a lot for attending this webinar. We have got these webinars uploaded pretty much like we uploaded 25 parts today. We'll be uploading more. And keep learning. The whole world can learn for free. Thanks a lot. This is Nagarajan signing off from openmentor.net for today. Bye.